On today's episode, we are looking at the finances of a 32-year-old lady. She works as a pharmacist and has a 3-year-old daughter. She says she wants to start working on reducing her debt because her finances have now gotten to a point where they are affecting her mental health. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Itumeleng. I'm a qualified management accountant, and on this channel, I help ordinary people like you learn how to start saving money, get out of debt, invest, and ultimately build wealth. If that is something you're interested in, please do subscribe and become a part of our growing rich family. Let's look at our sister's finances, starting with her income. She makes a net salary of 47,749 rands as a pharmacist, and she receives a rental income of 7,900 rands. In total, her monthly income is 55,649 rands. So as I've mentioned, our sister says that her finances are starting to affect her mental health because she's in a lot of debt. Now, when you just look at her income, it's a very above average income for our country. So you wonder what could have gone wrong. And to answer your question, we are going to look at the savings and investments as well as the debt balances. She has a TFSA. The balance on the TFSA is 44,484 rands. And that is all the savings and investments she has. She does not have an emergency fund or any other investments. Now, a TFSA is a good investment. It's a great investment. I might even argue and say it's the best, not even like one of the best, just the best, period. Right? But when you don't have an emergency fund and all you have is a TFSA, and even the balance is, low-ish for the income that we have, right? What is happening? Why a TFSA? She says, well, when I first started investing in the TFSA, I didn't really understand what it is or how it works. All I had was it's a tax-free savings account. And I thought, instead of saving money in a regular savings account, why not use the one that says tax-free? So naturally, she has been using it as an emergency fund, which is a common mistake. A common misconception about TFSAs is that they are savings accounts. And we know, I've already taught you, this is an investment account, a long-term one at that. So I asked, okay, how did we get to the 44,000 balance? She says, I've just been putting a little bit of money in this, around 1,000 every single month. And since I started learning more about how TFSAs actually work, I have since stopped withdrawing from my TFSA because now I'm aware that it's going to affect my lifetime limit. But I just contribute around 1,000 rands a month when I can. Okay, a 55,000 income, and the only thing we are contributing towards savings and investments is 1,000 rands a month when we can. What is going on? Let's look at the debt balances. These are her debt balances. We have a house. The balance on the house is 1,326,000. Okay, is this your house? So you bought a house, huh? Maybe that's one of the things that are stressing you because you have a house and home ownership is not easy financially. She said, okay, let me tell you the story about the house. So what happened with the house is I have a younger sister, she's 28 years old, and then I have my mom. My mom works and she's renting somewhere, and I'm also renting. I stay in a rental unit with my daughter. Okay, you stay in a rental unit with your daughter, your mom is renting somewhere in the house. She says, yes. The house, you would have seen from my income that I do receive some sort of a rental income that is from this house. So the reason I bought the house is because, like I said, my mom is renting, I am renting. So I decided that since my mom never had a house, me and my sister grew up without having a family home. I decided to buy this house so that it can be a family home for all of us. It can be a home where we all meet up and say, this is our family house. Currently, I have tenants there and they're sharing the place with my little sister. Okay? Say that again slowly. She says, yes, I just thought since we've never had a family home, it would be very smart. It would be very forward thinking, breaking generational curses if I get a house and all of us can call that house a family home. Because if I'm renting, my mom is renting, then my little sister would also have to rent, and then that is not progress. So, what is happening with this house is we just go to it, occasionally, maybe during holidays, we all meet up and we say, yay, family house. That also has tenants. And you said the problem is because you are renting, your mom is renting. But despite you having this family house, you and your mom are still renting. And you are 1.3 million knee deep in debt. How do you buy a house that no one stays in, well, except your little sister? But this is not doing what she thought it was going to do, or even if it's doing it, it shouldn't, because her biggest problem is the whole rent thing. And what I challenged her to think is, you should not always think that a mortgage, a bond, makes a place a family home. Where your mom is staying and renting currently, that can be a family home. That can be where we all meet up during Christmas, during holidays, or whenever during weekends. And, we laugh, we enjoy each other's company, we cook, we braai. That is a family home. Your place where you're renting currently, your family can visit and you have a nice time and you have quality family time, and that is still a family home. But thinking that it is only a home if there is a bond is not true. And now your sister is staying in this family home. Why? Why is she not like you and your mom and she goes and rent out her own place and then you guys all meet there at the family house in Christmas? She said, no, my sister is currently unemployed. So that is why I decided that, she can stay in the house and sort of like, just watch the place for me, make sure that the tenants don't give me problems, they stay in line. Okay, let's continue. Car 1, 81,000. Car 2, 150,000. Why do you have two cars when you are one? She said, okay, car 1 is the car that I was using initially. And then I had my child and I needed a bigger car. Okay. Okay, continue. And with me needing a bigger car, I went and bought car 2. And then I gave car 1 to my sister. What do you mean gave? She says, no, I just told my sister that she can, use the car. I still pay for the car, but my sister stays with this car full time and she registered it on Uber. So it's making her an income since, like I said, she's unemployed. I have seen many cases of people pleasing and drowning yourself so other people can swim. But this is the first time I see someone buy a whole house and give away a car that still owes the bank. And then they say, I don't know how I can get out of debt. So this Uber car that she gave to her sister, she gets no income from it, but she continues to make monthly payments on this car. Your sister is staying in this, family house. She does not pay rent. It's one thing to help someone. There are so many ways you could have helped your sister. You could have helped your sister by making her pay rent. Let her pay a smaller rent, and then we say a part of your rent deduction can be you act as a caretaker, fine. But there must be some sort of rental income from her. She's old, she's 28 years old. She's able to be responsible for herself if given the opportunity. And with the car, what should have happened and what can still happen is we need to sit down and come up with a proper business plan. Because just saying this is a car, or use it, please see how you can use it to generate an extra income. The conversation with the car should be, we are now business partners, or you are my employee, you drive my car, you Uberish my car, and then you give me this much monthly, you give me this much weekly. The rest you can see how you get your own place to rent, or you pay the rent in my house. But because this car still owes the bank and I still need to make payments on this car, unfortunately, it's just natural that I need you to bring something to me. She's 28, she's old, she'll understand that that's how life works. Because this is not working. This should have never happened. The house should have never been bought. The car should have never been given away. But there's always an opportunity to go back and have a conversation, because now you're drowning in debt. You are not that person that can have a house. You cannot afford to have a family home while you are renting. Your mom is renting a family home that you meet up 3-4 times a year. Like I said, you can meet up somewhere else. Let's continue. Credit card Investec, 20,000 rands. Credit card Absa, 62,400 rands. Credit card Capitec, 40,260 rands. All the banks of Mzansi for sure. What's up with the credit cards, ma'am? She said, like I said, I'm in debt. So even my expenses are more than my income. So I end up living on credit cards just to get by. A whole you that has bought a family house that the family does not stay in, a whole you that gave away a car, a whole you that decided to get a mom car because you are a mom and not sell the other car or trade it in or anything. You said, I'm going to give away car one because I'm a big sister, I'm a firstborn, I take care of things. A whole you is in credit card debt. A whole you relies on credit cards to be able to get through the month. It does not add up and it needs to start adding up. MobiCred, 11,000. Trueworth, 1,000. Student debt, 60,000. Municipality, 12,700 rands. In total, her debt is 1,764,360 rands. A lot of that debt is from the house that we don't need, a house that we can let go of. Everyone else can now come together and speak about the family home thing, because no one actually asked for a family home. No one pressurized her, which is the sad thing about her, is no one said, oh, go buy a mom car and give me a car and let me go away with the car and not contribute anything towards the car payment. Every single thing that she's in, every single situation she's in right now is because she volunteered. So you need to start volunteering something different. Volunteer selling this house. Volunteer talking about the Uber business, how it's going to operate from now on. In my home language, they say what you ruined with your mouth, you fix with your mouth. The same way your mouth was saying things you should not be saying. I will buy a house. I will give you a car and expect nothing in return. Go back, sit them down and say, this family house thing is not working because one, I cannot afford it. First and foremost, I cannot be someone that is paying for this house and still paying for my rent and still paying for the Uber car. I also cannot afford to pay for 2 cars and not get anything in return. What can we work out between ourselves to make sure that you still benefit and I still benefit? I'm not saying throw your sister out. I'm not saying take away the car from your sister. I'm not saying don't. All I'm saying is there's a way for the car to work for your sister to be her source of income since she's unemployed, but for you as the Uber boss to also benefit and work on reducing your debts. Let's now look at the monthly expenses. Bond, 14,000 rands. Home insurance, 1,300 rands. This is the family house now. Rates and taxes, 3,000 rands. And then rent, where she stays with her daughter, is 5,200 rands. Electricity 1,000 rands. Electricity 2,500 rands. Why do we have electricity 1 and 2? She said, I buy electricity for my sister. Ah. It's like a spell. It's like a cult. Your sister is staying in the family house, rent-free. Your sister is driving the Uber car without contributing anything to the Uber car. And you're paying electricity for your sister again. Which of the electricity is 1 and 2? Which one is your sister? It must be the 1,000. No, ma'am, it's the 2.5. What do you mean your sister's electricity is more than yours when you have a child? How do you pay 1,000 electricity for you and your child, and then you pay 2,500 electricity for your sister? Your sister is running an Uber car that has no expenses attached to her. Why is she not paying for her own electricity at least? She did not reply. She just started breathing heavy. I've never seen someone so hostage in such a big prison that, they arrested themselves. And let's talk about the house payments. You saw she receives around 7,000 rent from the tenants that stay with her sister. And the bond is 14,000. The bond alone, forget home insurance and rates and taxes. The bond alone is 14,000 rands. Already by just paying the bond, she's in a big shortfall. When you add the home insurance and the rates and taxes and the electricity too of 2,500 rands that she pays for her sister, in total she spends 20,800 rands on the family home alone. So that is both a shame and an opportunity. Because if we got rid of the family home alone, if the only thing we did was just get rid of the family home, sell the family home, you're going to get back the whole 20,000 rands, and then you take out the 7,000 rands rental income that you've been receiving. That is a net of 13,000 rands back in your pocket by just letting go of the family home and letting your sister, you can just let your sister continue to drive the Uber car and not pay anything for it. Then she'll have to figure out how she finds a place to stay and how she pays for the electricity at that place. Just letting go of one thing, which is also the biggest thing, the house, we are going to make a world of difference in your finances. And if this whole family home thing is still an issue, there's something you can do about it. Buy a home for your daughter, because your daughter is 3 now, and now you are spending the rest of the 20 years trying, battling, struggling, even being depressed to pay the family home. By the time she's 23, she's not going to have a home of her own. You are still renting. She's going to go back and be in the same position you are in now and say, I need to buy a family home because I never had a family home of my own. And then she's going to struggle for another 20 years as well, like you did. And what's going to happen to her daughter? Her daughter is also going to have to buy your daughter a house. The same thing that you're desperately trying to break, you are multiplying. If we are to move forward from the whole family house thing, we get a family house for the daughter. Let your daughter have a family home. Next time you buy a house, not now, should not have bought a house. We're going to fix our finances first, and then down the line, what you should actually strive for is to buy a house for yourself that your daughter can call home. And the beauty about this house of yours is that your mother and your sister are more than welcome. It will be a sort of a family home as well, but the only difference about this one is you and your daughter will actually be living in it. No more of this thing of paying for a family home and then still having to pay for your rental. Okay, because I know selling a house does not happen overnight. Where we are just going to start is just by taking out the electricity money. The least your sister can do is pay electricity for herself. So when we have the Uber car talk, because it's also something that can be solved, can bring in cash flow immediately. If you have the talk with her, you get some income from the Uber business, and you tell her from now on you also have to take care of your own electricity as well. Maybe the bill will not be this high if she's paying for her own electricity. Car 1, 2,900 rands. Car 2, 3,500 rands. Do you see what's happening here? Everything she pays in twos. House 1, house 2, car 1, car 2, electricity 1, electricity 2. Car insurance 1, 2,100 rands. Car insurance 2, 2,200 rands. Ay, ay, ay. That is a lot of money to put towards raising a 28-year-old. This lady is raising her sister more than she's raising her daughter. So that conversation with her sister and getting into a new agreement is also going to make a lot of difference, other than letting go of the house. Tracker 1, 380. Tracker 2, 380. Petrol, 1,000 rands. Nanny, 3,000 rands. I know the minimum wage committee will enter the chat right now. In 3, 2, go. But the minimum wage is 5,700 rands a month. Guys, I know, we know. But as much as I understand that and I agree with the minimum wage, I agree with paying people fairly. I also think sometimes for some people, even getting that 3,000 rands, it makes a lot of difference in their families. And some people will even raise kids and save money for university with this kind of money. Some of us were raised on far less. So just because someone is not paying the minimum wage does not mean they should be bashed, because at the end of the day, they are providing employment in these tough times in the economy. But yes, minimum wage must be abided by. But I also understand sometimes if that's all you can pay. For our sister here, she's only able to pay 3,000 because she's focusing too much on her grown sister. Cousin transport, 500 rands. She's helping her cousin with her school transport. That is fine. It's just 500 rands. That is not the reason she's broke. We've seen the reason she's broke is having 2 houses that she's paying for, 2 cars, 2 trackers, 2 insurances, 2 electricities. We need to start reducing those to 111 because you are one. The other one will have to see how they make 1 plus 1. Absa credit card, 2,000 rands. Capitec credit card, 500 rands. You saw she also has an Investec credit card. She says she does not always pay it, so she hasn't paid it in some time. Investment, this is that TFSA, 1,000 rands. Mobicred, 900 rands. Bank fees, 650 rands. I know some of you are going to say that is high, but that is actually normal. Okay, come for me. Is it not normal? Because I think a lot of you think bank charges are very cheap because you have honestly never checked. If you went on your bank statement and you looked at how much they actually take a month, some banks are smart about it. I will not name names, but some banks are smart about it because I have like 5 bank accounts, so I will tell you, all of them are expensive. It's just that some banks will, do it per transaction, charge you per transaction. And others will just come and be upfront and say, our bank charges are 700. But if you actually looked at how much you pay in bank charges, it's a lot. So 650 rands better be normal because I'm paying a lot. If it's not normal, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Gym 720 rands, subscriptions 500 rand, Wi-Fi 420 rands, general upkeep 500 rands, clothes 2000 rands. Her daughter is 3. She does not need clothes every single month. So that's another problem. Remove the clothes money. Just start topping up clothes or buying for change of seasons. But buying clothes every single month, even for a newborn, we don't buy every single month. Groceries 4,000 rands for her and her daughter. Because we are in debt, we can do better. We can reduce that to 3,000. So we're going to get the 2,000 from the clothes, an additional 1,000 from reducing our groceries because we are eating Imana. Because what? We've done this to ourselves. We bought the house we don't stay in. Must pay the price sometimes. Toiletries 500 rands. I don't understand why toiletries are not part of groceries, and we just spent 3,000 rands a month on groceries, including toiletries. But because that is what you guys do, can leave toiletries. Take out 2,000 rands. We are going to start taking out 1,000 rands. So by just, seeing where we can reduce by ourselves, we are going to reduce by 4,000 rands. And this is before we have the talk with our mother and most importantly, the Uber driver. In total, her expenses are 58,650 rands. So that is about 3,000 rands shortfall every single month. And that's why she relies on credit cards to get by. So because we already have a shortfall of 3,000 rands, those amounts that I said she could work on decreasing will just ensure that we are no longer in a shortfall. Now our expenses equal our income. What will really be a game changer is selling the house, getting some money from the Uber business, and most importantly, let your sister pay for her own expenses. You can help sometimes when you can, but not to just take over her whole financial life. Meanwhile, she's an Uber driver. There are lots of Uber drivers that are raising kids, sending them to school. She only has herself to raise. I think she'll be fine. So at the end of the consultation, our sister said something very funny. She said, "Ma'am, I've seen you refer people to therapists, so please refer me." I said, what? What is this? Oh, you came all this way for me to tell you you need therapy? Okay, yeah. My job is tough. I keep telling you guys. And I don't even get paid enough. But I did. I referred her to a therapist because our sister, more than money, she needs to work on talking, telling people what is really going on. And she also needs to work on her boundaries and priorities. So that is all I heard from you today from our lovely pharmacist. If you guys have any extra advice, maybe you are someone that has been in her situation before. I know she's not the only one. We all know how common her situation is. So if you're someone that has been there, done that, please give your word of encouragement. Please let us know, let other people know, how did you get out of it? And what are the signs to look out for and avoid for those who have not yet fallen into that trap? I hope you found value in this episode. I will see you guys in the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a rich, 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 rich day.